Hello. Okay, today we're going to do that for the supplement base. It's a very complicated piece today. We're talking about a statement that was said in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, that Meir said, that we learn out from the words. We're trying to figure out whose words they are, but we learn out that Shasef and Truma Tahira imatmei Pesach. They're able to burn Tamdika Truma with Tahidika Truma on our Pesach, even though through burn them together, you're going to contaminate Tahidika Truma. So we're trying to figure out exactly where Ramey got this information from. So holding the topic that's government based. The Gemara said, I didn't teach this because I wasn't well, but last time we're in the middle of speaking about that Rabbi Nachman brought down a case that Ramey learns out from Rabbi Yeshua. Ramey learns out from Rabbi Yeshua. Okay, I'm not going to get into this now. It's a long case of Rabbi Yeshua, but basically, there's, just to make it short, there's a case in the Mishnah. We start to have the sugya with the Mishnah in the Daf Yud Dalet. The Mishnah said, Rabbi Chanina said that they would burn in the Beis Hamikdash. They would burn tamdika truma, tamdika meat with which is a higher degree truma together with a piece of meat that's low degree truma. So from here we see that Rabbi Chanina says you're able to increase truma in the Beis Hamikdash. Then Rabbi Kiva brought a different case of the same idea of burning pasadika oil with tamdika things. It's also the idea is you're increasing tumah in Beis Hamikdash. And then Ramey said that from their words we learn out that you're able to burn. From that words we learn out you're able to burn on Pesach chametz, which is erev Pesach chametz, which is completely toy, which is pure, together with chametz, which is completely impure. The question is where Ramey learned out from, because we don't see this idea Sai in Rabbi Chanina's opinion and Sai in Rabbi Akiva's opinion. So we finished off last Amud that Rabbi Nachman said he learned out from the Shutta of Rabbi Yeshua. It's not Rabbi Yeshua over here. It's a case we brought down from Rabbi Yeshua. So then we brought down the end of last Amud. We brought down a whole case of Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi argues with Ramey and says you cannot burn the truma together. And Rabbi Yossi says that if you learned out from Chunu ben Akana, it doesn't make sense. And if you learned out from Akiva, it doesn't make sense. So the question is, why is Rabbi Yossi, according to Rabbi Nachman, why is Rabbi Yossi listing as a source for Ramey, if according to Rabbi Nachman, Ramey doesn't get his information from Chanin Skan HaKohenim, he gets it from Yeshua. So that's what we're holding. We're holding V'isa Kodaitach, and we're going to start from V'isa Kodaitach. It's on the third line from the top. It says the Gemara, V'isa Kodaitach Ramey Mediv Rabbi Yeshua come out if you're going to tell me that Ramey learns gets information from Rabbi Yeshua. So if so, why does Rabbi Yossi say that he gets it? Why does Rabbi Yossi was a Tana? Why does Rabbi Yossi say that he gets his information from Chanin Skan HaKohenim? It's a contradiction to Rabbi Nachman's opinion that Ramey got this din from Rabbi Yeshua. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Nachman answered, Rabbi Yossi didn't understand Ramey. Rabbi Yossi didn't understand that Ramey got his opinion from Yeshua. Rabbi Yossi thought that Ramey got his opinion from somewhere else. And therefore he's asking like this. Rabbi Yossi thought that Ramey got his opinion from Chanin Skan HaKohenim, which is the case in the Mishnah, be able to burn two pieces of meat together. So Ramey answered him, I know, Rabbi Yeshua, why you're asking questions from Chanin Skan HaKohenim? I got my opinion from Rabbi Yeshua, and therefore don't ask me questions from Chanin Skan HaKohenim. So Rabbi Yossi answered him, even according to Yeshua, so after Meir told him that I got my opinion from Yeshua, so Rabbi Yossi asked him, you got an opinion from Yeshua? Even if you got an opinion from Yeshua, it still doesn't make sense. Because Rabbi Yeshua himself agrees that when it comes to something which is completely pure, it's not permissible to burn it with something which is completely pure. So, that he gets his, Ramey got his opinion from Yeshua. We see that Rabbi Yosef asked from Pninas Kanakanim, because Rabbi Yosef thought that he got opinion from Pninas Kanakanim, but in the end, May answered, he got opinion from Yeshua. So now, Rabbi Yosef has a new question. Rabbi Yosef's question is that Yeshua himself says that you cannot burn Truma, which is pure, which is Torah, together with Truma, which is not pure. Says the Gemara, why did Rabbi Yeshua say that you can't burn? Why? So now the Gemara is going to analyze what Rabbi Yossi said. Why does Rabbi Yossi argue the Meir? Again, Meir says that it's mutter to burn Truma, which is Torah, together with Truma, which is Tameh. Rabbi Yossi argues with that and says that if you have Truma, which is Tameh, and Truma, which is Torah, and at Pesach, what Chametz, then you have to burn them in a separate fire, because you cannot contaminate Truma if it's Torah. Says the Gemara, why does he argue? Why does he say that you cannot burn Truma together? Just like in the case of Yeshua. It's mashma that you could contaminate, make something which is Tameh, make something which is Torah Tameh. So too, over here you can make something which is Tameh Torah. Torah also Tameh. Says the Gemara, Shani Hasam, the Ikka Hefsa the Chul. Reason why, okay, I'm just going to state the case of Yeshua, because just to clarify. If Yeshua says, I'm not sure if you had a chance to learn it by yourself. We learned the last Amud. Yeshua said, the Amud of Thursday, Yeshua says, Yeshua was in the case that if you have a barrel which is broken, barrel which is broken, and Yeshua says it's mutter to make the if you have a barrel which is broken and the wine is coming out, Yeshua says it's mutter to make it tameh, make the truma tameh, even though it was Torah before, it's mutter to make it tameh, because it's then going to come bad anyway, and through that, it's mutter to basically to contaminate the wine, which is eventually going to go to waste. So instead of Torah dikut truma going to waste, now tameh dikut truma is going to go to waste. So from here we see that Rabbi Yeshua Beferish says that you're able to contaminate truma, which is Torah. So this is a good proof for a Meir that said you could contaminate the truma on Erev Pesach, which is Torah. So why doesn't Rabbi Yossi agree to that comparison? Because the Gemara says, so now we're continuing with the Gemara in the Fizvav Shani Hasam, the Ikar Hefsit Chulin. Over there, it's a different case. Because in the case of Yeshua, since over there you're going to lose through if you're going to let this truma go all over the place, if you're going to let this barrel which is leaking go all over the place, then it's going to eventually make other things tummy, or make other things not make other things not useful anymore. And therefore, in that case, we let you come with a solution and get rid of the wine which is leaking out the barrel. By now case, what loss do you have by making two separate fires? If you're able, in other words, if you're able to avoid contaminating the truma, why would you prefer to make it tummy? Just make two separate fires. What do you mean? It says the Mishnah. It says in our Mishnah also, if you're going to make two separate fires, you're going to have to spend double the amount of wood to burn two separate fires. Maybe you're going to come to a loss. Says the Gemara, we only let you contaminate truma if it's going to be a big loss. It's going to be a small loss, meaning our Mishnah, which you're only going to have to spend extra money on the wood to make two separate fires, and that counts as a small loss, and therefore it's okay. And therefore, if you hold, you have to make two separate fires. Okay, so that's at the end of that. So it gets a bit complicated. We're going to go further. Amar Rabbi said, "Amar Rabbi the name of Rabbi." So now Rabbi is quoting Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi is quoting the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Machlekes b'sheish. The machlekes of Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi and Rabbi. Again, the machlekes between Rabbi and Rabbi is Rabbi says they're able to burn chametz dikatruma, tamei dikatruma together with tar dikatruma. If you have a piece of bread which is tamei and a piece of bread which is tar, and you have to get rid of them on Erev Pesach because it's chametz, so you're able to burn them in the same fire. That's Rabbi's opinion. Rabbi says that you have to burn them in a separate fire, because if you're going to burn them in the same fire, you're going to contaminate the tar dikatruma, and it's not going to come tamei, which is us going to Rabbi. Says Rabbi Yochanan that their machlekes is only b'sheish, it's only in the 6th hour on Erev Pesach. The chametz is only asur d'rabbanan. But if you're speaking about the 7th hour into the day, now chametz, the 7th hour into the day on Erev Pesach, chametz is asur d'iraisa. The Divrei Hakol say, when everyone agrees, you could burn them together. Why? Because since both pieces of bread are now deemed in use, not use. It's not useful for truma anymore, because with the rice you can't have this bread anymore. Not only with the rice you can't have this bread anymore. So therefore, we don't care if it becomes tummy, because it's anyway not useful for truma anymore. Amr Reb Zeiner Ravasi. So Reb Zeiner said to Ravasi, "Nema because Rabbi Yechanan masnisin ba'ava tumah de raisa v'vlav the tumah de rabbanon." Now that I said Rabbi Yechanan said, again, Rabbi Yechanan's machadish just now, the machlekes of Rabbi and Rabbi, if you're able to contaminate truma or not, is only regarding if the truma is only us that is chametz d'rabbanan. Once the chametz now becomes chametz d'iraisa, because it's already the 7th hour, everyone agrees there's no problem of contaminating the truma. Says Reb Zera. So now through this I can give a new explanation in the Mishnah. I can explain the Mishnah like this. Again, we're trying to figure out where Rameh got the information from. Where does Rameh says I learn out from the words. Whose words? We don't know. Rameh somehow opened up the Mishnah and he saw in that Mishnah that it says that you're able to contaminate truma. You're able to burn a talmudic piece of truma together with a tardic piece of truma. The question is where you got that from. So says Rabbi Zera, I have a new explanation to the Mishnah. Because I can say it like this: Masnisim, when Chaninas kind of came, when the Mishnah started off saying that in the Mishnah they would burn a talmudic piece of meat together with another talmudic piece of meat together, I could explain like this. I could say that we're speaking about Abba Tuma Deiraisa. We're speaking about that one piece of meat became Tami Deiraisa. One piece of meat was Abba Tami, meaning he touched that person. And the other piece of meat, the Vlad Tuma Derabban, and the other piece of meat was only Tami Deiraisa Derabban. So the Chanina's din was to burn, that you're able to burn truma d'rabbanan, you're able to burn a piece of meat which is tummy d'rabbanan together with a piece of meat that's becoming tummy that's tummy d'iraisa. So that's the Chanina's din. Comes Rameh and says, "My midivrayim." So how does Rameh learn out from there that you're able to burn something which is toy together with something which is tummy? The din of Chanina is only something which is both. In that case, both were tummy, even though one was tummy d'iraisa, one was tummy d'rabbanan. But how does the Rameh learn out that even something which is toy completely able to burn together with something which is tummy? So I explain like this: from the word why? Because just like Rabbi says that you're able to burn meat which is tummy d'rabbanan together with meat which is tummy d'iraisa, so too you're able to burn truma, which is you're able to burn truma, which is tied together with truma, which is tummy d'iraisa. Because according to Rabbi Yechanan's chiddush was that we speak about the case of Rameh is only speaking about a case that the chametz is only chametz d'rabbanan. Since it's only chametz, if it's the 7th hour, everyone agrees you could burn together. We speak about a case of that's chametz d'rabbanan. So we speak about a case that's chametz d'rabbanan. So again, you have one piece of bread which is truma, but it's asur d'rabbanan because it's chametz d'rabbanan. And you have one piece of meat which is tamei, but it's asur d'iraisa because it's tamei. It's tamei d'iraisa. So it's just like the Chanina says, you're able to mix something which is asur d'rabbanan and asur d'iraisa together. So too, the Meir learns out that you're able to mix by chametz. Also, you're able to mix truma, which is asur d'rabbanan, because it's only the 6th hour together with something which is tamei d'iraisa, and burn together. Amar lei. So he answered to Reb Zera in Nechanami. That's a good way of explaining the Mishnah. It's my nami. The Gemara brings a proof for this. Amar Reb Yechanan masnisin ba'ava tumah d'iraisa. The Mishnah, that which Mechaninas Kanakenim said you could burn the pieces of meat together, is speaking about that the pieces of meat were one of them was tamei d'iraisa, the other meat was tamei d'rabbanan. So how does your mayor learn out from that case that you're able to burn on Erev Pesach a tardik truma and the tamdik truma is he learns out from Mechaninas Kanakenim machleke is b'sheish. because the whole argument of Rabbi and that which Rabbi said you're able to burn truma together is with the 6th hour. It's only us that Rabbanon. But Shabbos, if something us Deiraisa, the Vahakasef, and everyone gives you a burn. Okay, so let's just make a sickle. Basically, we established that Chanina's chiddush is that if you have 2 pieces of meat, one is Asa Rabbanon, one is Asa Deiraisa, you're able to burn them together. So therefore, the Meir said, just like in the case of Chanina, one is Asa Rabbanon, one is Asa Deiraisa. I can apply a chiddush to that case in our Pesach. What's the case in our Pesach? If you have one piece of meat which is Tamid Deiraisa, which is it's unfit for Truma Deiraisa, and I have another piece of meat which is chametz, and therefore it's unfit Drabanon because it's chametz Drabanon, even though it's Toy, but it's still unfit. It's anyway can never be used for anyway can never be used for Truma because right now the Drabanon is unfit. So am I allowed to burn them together? Says the Meir, of course I'm allowed to burn them together. Just like Mechanina says, you're able to burn 2 pieces of meat together. If one is us, the Rabbanon, one is us, the Deiraisa. So in our case, you're able to burn 2 pieces of bread together. If one is us, the Rabbanon, one is us, the Deiraisa. Says the Gemara further, I can bring a proof to Rabbi Shita that Rabbi learned out from Mechanina, because it says we have a price that says pigul v'anoisa v'atami. If you have pigul means a carbon that was shachted with the wrong kavanas. Noisa means meat that was left over. Va'atame, meat that became tame. All these 3 types of meats have to be burnt, are unfit to be eaten by the kohanim, therefore they have to be burnt. So Bishama says, these 3 types of meat, even though all 3 have to be burnt, but they all have a different level of isur, and therefore Bishama said you cannot burn them together. Basila says Nisraf Mekachas, you're able to burn them together. So just like we see the machlekes over here between Misham and Basila, that Bishami says that you can't burn them together, and Basila says you could burn them together. That the Bishami says you can't burn them together, and Basila says you could burn them together. So you're bringing this machlekes and this from this Mishnah as a hamshech. He wants to prove from here that even Basila said, even Basila says that Basila says you could burn them together. Since Basila says you can burn them together, so therefore that's the proof for the Meishit. Shani Hassam says the Gemara don't bring a proof from there. The Islo Tumad Rabbanan did nan a pigol van Neisad Matam and say dying. Don't bring a proof from there of Truma. You can't bring a proof from pigol for Truma. Why? Because over there, Truma over there pigol is only Truma Rabban. Itnan, because we learn in the Mishnah, pigol and Neisad Matam and say dying. It says that pigol and Neisad are Matam their hands. Meaning, since they have a Truma Rabbanan, even though the Asa they rice, but they still have an extra Truma Rabbanan that a Truma Rabbanan that they matam their hands. So therefore, they still said you're able to burn together. But in the case of if you have something which is Torah de rice, the case of the Meir's case, which is Torah de rice, and if you have something which is Tamid de rice, so who said that you could burn them together? So in other words, we want to bring a proof from the Mishnah over there, and we finish off that you can't bring a proof from the Mishnah over there because over there it's only Asa de Rabbanan, we're stringing over it's Asa de rice. So let's bring another proof. Maybe I can bring another proof. If you have bread that became bad, the nifsala, and because it became bad, it's not the nifsala milacha adam, and it's not edible anymore. Even though it's not edible for humans, but a dog can eat it. It's still edible for a dog. Since it's still edible for a dog, if it has a shear of egg, which is the shear that food can become tummy, then it's still able to become tummy because since it was fit for a person, even though now it's not fit, since it used to be fit for a person, so it still has the name of food on it, and since it still has the name of food on it, it still can become tummy. And the price finished up and it's refes im tatmea b'Pesach, and you can burn it this bread with bread that became tamei on Erev Pesach. Here we see clearly that you can have a piece of bread which is toy, even though it's a tiny size, but it's still toy. and you're able to burn it together with Talmudic bread and Pesach. That's a clear proof for Meir Shita that you're able to burn Talmudic bread together with Talmudic bread. So the Gemara don't bring a proof from there. Koshani Hasan the Afra Ba'am over there, it's a different case because over there we said before that the bread wasn't roy lachilas adam. Humans can't eat it anymore. So maybe but there's a specific case you're able to burn it together. Since it's like dust, so therefore you're able to burn it together with Talmudic bread. Shank in the case of Meir is not talking about bread which is like dust. Meir is talking about normal bread. So who said that everyone will agree to that? So you can't bring a proof for a Meir. So again, we're just bringing proofs for a Meir that you're able to burn Talmudic bread together with Toradic bread. Says the Gemara, Ihachi, if so nothing about going back. If according to the Meir, that a Meir, we just said before the Meir learned this din from Chaninas Kana Kainim, that a Meir said that he learned this din from Chaninas Kana Kainim, just like what Chaninas Kana Kainim said that you could burn two pieces of meat, one which is also the rice, one which is also the bun. Tell me the rice, one part together. So Meir learned how that you're able to burn two pieces of bread, one which is also the rice, one which is also the bun. So if you learned out from Chaninas Kana Kainim, my Meida, how do we read the Hemshech on the Mishnah? The Hemshech on the Mishnah says, Umeidim, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yeshua, Shesefim Zolatim, and Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Lazar agree. Okay, I'm just reading from the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Amr Rabbi says, Mishnah says, Amr Meir, the Meir says, if we don't have from the words, you can burn Talmudic Truma and Toradic Truma. Amr Rabbi says, I don't agree to that. Then the Mishnah goes further. Umeidim Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yeshua Shesefim Zolatim v'Zolatim. That Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Lazar both agree that you're able to burn, that you have to burn Truma by itself, each thing by itself. Says the Gemara, if the Meir is basing himself on Rabbi Chanina, how does the Mishor and Rabbi Lazar come in? Who they being made it to? Where did Mishor and Rabbi Lazar come in? Says the Gemara, this is how you're supposed to read the Mishnah. This is how you read the Mishnah. Read the Mishnah like this: that Rabbi Yossi said, the Meir said that you could burn Talmudic Truma and Toradic Truma together. Rabbi Yossi argues, and Rabbi Yossi tells the Meir, even Rabbi Yeshua, which I have a different Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua, we learned yesterday, on Thursday, Rabbi Yeshua says you're able to be matama wine, make wine which is tar, able to make it tame. Kimeko, when does he say they're able to make it tame? Betruya or tmeya? Abavade Torah or tmeya learned. When did Yeshua said they're able to make some wine tame only if the wine is safik tuma, and you're able to make it a valley tuma? In your case, this is saying Rameh, in your case that one is a vadai, one is for sure tame, one is for sure asr, one is for sure mutter. So who said you're able to stick them together? So therefore, that's how Yeshua comes in. It's basically bringing a proof for his case. Again, basically argues in the Meir. The Meir said you're able to stick something which is tired together, something which is tummy. And basically said you can't do that. And what's my proof? That even if Yeshua said you're able to be matama wine, you only said you're able to be matama wine if the wine is already safik tummy. I'm saying if the wine is tired, for sure you can't be matama. So how can you say that you're able to be matama and stick things together? Says the Gemara. Again, we're going back to Rabbi Yechon's opinion. Rabbi Yechon said that Meir learned out from Rabbi Chanina. If Meir learned out, another question: if Meir learned out from Rabbi Chanina's opinion, or from the case of mixing two pieces of meat together, am I einem namida? So why does Rabbi Yossi tell him that the cases are unsimilar? Mida or mida? The cases are very similar. What's the difference in both cases? Says the Gemara, I'm going to be in Hacha. So in other words, why is Rabbi Yossi? What's Meir's opinion? What's Rabbi Yossi's opinion? Again, the Meir learned out from Chanina said a case able to mix two pieces of meat together. One is tamid rice, one is tamid rabban. The Meir learned out that from there you can mix anything, which is us the if something's us the rice and us the rabban, you're able to mix them together, burn them together. Rabbi Yossi argued that. And he says that you can't compare that to the case of Chanina. Why can you compare it? What's Rabbi Yossi's opinion? So the Gemara says like this: But over here, the Mishnah is talking about the case of Chanina's case of the two pieces of meat is talking about a case that they became tamei. They became tamei with liquid that was contaminated by touching a rodent. Again, there's different types of tumah. There's tumas mace and then tumas sheretz. Tumas sheretz is liquid that became tumah through touching a rodent. And the Meir goes according to his opinion, and the Beis goes according to his opinion. What does that mean? The Meir goes according to his opinion. The Meir says that liquid can only be matame something else with the Rabban. If you have liquid that became tame, it can only be matame something else with the Rabban. So therefore, the Bechanina's case is very similar to the Meir's case. Why? Because the Bechanina says that you're able to burn a piece of meat that has a tumah d'Rabbanan together with meat that's tamei d'oraisa. From that, Meir learned out that you're able to burn tumah, which is chametz d'Rabbanan, together with truma, which is chametz d'oraisa. Rabbi says a whole different reason. He says the Amar tumas mashkin the tamachem d'oraisa. Tumas mashkin, if something becomes tamei through touching liquid, it's able to tamei other things d'oraisa. And therefore, the case of the Bechanina's case isn't a case of d'oraisa and d'Rabbanan. It's a case of making something tamei d'oraisa. Why? Because if you have a piece of meat if you have a piece of meat that's going to now become tamei d'oraisa, if you're going to have a piece of meat that has a name of tumah d'oraisa together with another piece of meat that's tumah d'oraisa, is much more chamor than burning something which has something of tumah d'Rabbanan together with a tamei d'oraisa, and therefore the BSC is tiny on view that how can you say that you're able to burn a d'oraisa and a d'Rabbanan together, and you're not in that from Bechanina's case. The Bechanina's case is a whole different case. The Bechanina's case, in the case of the Bechanina, that over there they're both tamei d'oraisa. You're only being massive something which is already tamei d'oraisa. But the case of chametz and Pesach, chametz just for Pesach, it's not tamei d'oraisa. It's not even asa d'oraisa. It's only asa d'Rabbanan. You're telling me that you're able to burn it together. Fine, but I hold that the case of Bechanina's case is d'oraisa and d'oraisa. So therefore, I'm not being made for anything. According to the Meir learned that the case of Bechanina was a d'Rabbanan and a d'oraisa. So therefore, you're making the piece of meat which is tamei d'Rabbanan. You're making it tamei d'oraisa. Masechta and Meir held that was anyway tamei d'oraisa. So that's why in the case of Bechanina, you can stick both pieces of meat together. Masechta in the case of chametz, it's a whole different case. Because in the case of chametz, it's only tamei d'Rabbanan, and now you're going to make it even more. And now you're going to make a whole new level of tumah d'oraisa. So that you can't do. That's it. My finishes off with the machlekes of Rabbi and Meir. Okay, I'm going to stop over here after Zav base. So I'm not feeling so well, so